بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. اللهم لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. اللهم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحانك لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. أنت المقدم وأنت المؤخر وأنت على كل شيء قدير. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the most compassionate, the most merciful, all praise and thanks are due to him, and peace and blessings be upon his beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He who is guided by the will of Allah, no one can misguide him, and he who is misguided, no one can guide him except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair, brother, for closing the doors. Barakallah feek. Today we will be dealing with قول الله تعالى, which is verse 219 from Surah al-Baqarah, 219 from chapter al-Baqarah, which is يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر من نفعهما ويسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل العفو كذلك يبين الله لكم الآيات لعلكم تتفكرون. Abu Umar, can you close the door, معلش? You don't mind, Jazakallah khair. Thank you very much. Correct. Last time, just to connect you always, just to keep you on the track as much as we can, inshallah. Last time we were dealing with 218, which is in الذين آمنوا والذين هاجروا وجاهدوا في سبيل الله أولئك يرجون رحمة الله والله غفور رحيم. So it was, surely those who have believed, immigrated and struggled in the way of Allah, they can hope for Allah's mercy, and Allah is all forgiving, most merciful. And the most important point that we highlighted last time, which is al-iman shart qabul al-a'mal. The most important basic condition in Islam for deeds to be accepted is that you have to have the passport or the visa, which is faith. If you are a non-believer in what Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came with, basically your good deeds will not benefit you when you stand before Allah. This is a basic thing. So last time the whole session was about in الذين آمنوا هاجروا جاهدوا. Great, al-hijrah, immigration for the sake of Allah. If not, and we highlighted the concept of أنا أغنى الأغنياء عن الشرك. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qudsi hadith, I'm in the highest level of being self-sufficient. I'm not in need for anyone. Anyone decides to associate someone or something with me, let him, let her depend on what he associated with me in the day of judgment. It's very blunt, clear, direct in Islam. So this is a very basic, important point. We need always to keep repeating for ourselves and to tell the people when they ask us, because if this is not clear, we might be misleading them. In Islam, it's very vital to tell the people that the basic condition for acceptance is belief and faith, not good deeds. Be careful. You know, this is how misleading this point is, because, you know, we are living in the world of the secular liberalism, in the world of individualism. When we speak about liberalism, individualism, by default, millions of people, they are brainwashed under big new beautiful slogans. Okay? The most important thing, you don't harm anyone, which is good. That's true. You don't harm anyone for the sake of what? As long as you are benefiting. If there's no CCTV cameras and your benefit is missed, any one of us could be the biggest criminal. Is this proved or not in practice? You'll see series, murderer or killer. You'll discover that he's a very nice citizen, but because there's no accountability or no one is able. So faith is one of the most important, guarantors. Anyway, now regardless what others think, I'm talking about us as believers in Islam. For us, if you don't believe, the good deed will not benefit you in the day of judgment. This should be very important, because as I said, we are living in a time Is he doing okay? Even by the way, if you want a little bit to be a little bit more deep in philosophy, who decides what's good and what's bad? Be careful about this, because many people, including Muslims now, my biggest concern now, we need to protect the mind, the hearts, and the identity of our youth. This is my biggest aim now. When you tell someone you have to do sunshot sauce, I said, even if I don't pray, even if I don't, as long as I do good things, I'm okay. Do we hear this or not? صح ولا لا؟ طيب. Now our basic condition is faith. طيب. After the faith, who decides what's good and what's bad? Big question. Who decides? Every group decides in many things. Look now to what we know now about the gender issues. 100 years, the group used to think XYZ. 70 years, a new approach. 40 years, a new approach. 10 years, new approach. Now, completely has nothing to do with 100 years. Who's right and who's wrong? Philosophically speaking, who's right and who's wrong? You will tell me that, okay, we discovered, which means you will keep evolving and developing, and everything might be changed. Is that a reality that we live or not? So in Islam, اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. I forgot the point that I was. What was the point before it?
Things have changed.
الله يجزيك الخير. Yes, we as a human being, we keep changing. We keep changing depending on what? Our desires, our needs, our limitations, our whatever, for political reasons, economic reasons. And it happens. Yani, for example, that's why in Islam, when you decide what's good and what's bad, in our faith, it's Allah who decides. It's Islam, it's Quran and Sunnah, it decides good and bad. Mainly, it goes in parallel with our normal, natural fitrah. But what if this fitrah has been infected with viruses? Could it happen? Does it happen in reality? Yes. The taste of the people change in many things. Many things just 100 years ago used to be in the top level of criminality. Criminal. Now they are heroes. What? Yes. Why? We need a guarantor at the games with it. And one of the, for us now that we can, it's up to the people. Is it possible that people, even though they are convinced it's harmful, yet they don't care and they put legislation for the alcohol or not? This is very clear. But logically, rationally, do you see? Yes, I see, but desire, needs, tourism, economic, whatever, big justifications. So we'll go back. This is last time verses, which is in الذين آمنوا والذين هاجروا وجاهدوا. I said الإيمان شرط قبول. I'm just reminding you with last time to connect it with today's, because it's very important. Last time, the most important thing we highlighted was basically is that the basic condition for acceptance of deeds is faith. There is no faith, everything is just for yourself. Go manage yourself when you stand before your Lord. You will face serious trouble with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we highlighted the examples of Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and said, okay, he was not doing for the sake of Allah. And the most important hadith, to keep it in your mind, always remember it, the first hadith in Sahih al-Bukhari, which is إنما الأعمال بالنيات وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى فمن كانت هجرته إلى الله ورسوله فهجرته إلى الله ورسوله ومن كانت هجرته لدنيا يصيبها أو امرأة يتزوجها فهجرته إلى ما هاجر إليه. Verily, indeed, actions are only considered by intentions. If there are intentions, consideration will be there. If there are no intentions, the consideration will not be there. Then you will have either a good intention or a bad intention, according to the Sharia itself. If you are doing this for the sake of Allah, it's for the sake of Allah. If you do it just to do something, he gave an example. Why you are immigrating? Wallahi, I want to marry such and such woman. So if you die in the way, are you a shaheed in the sake of Allah? No. No, don't say I'm shaheed. No. You are doing for something else. But why did you leave your home? I was immigrating. Why? Because I want to say the haqq. I want to defend the oppressed people. Yes, mashallah. Now, you will be a shaheed. Anyway, we did this last time. Look, today's ayah. Why I'm trying just to recall last times, because I want to connect it with today's. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنِ الْخَمْرِ وَالْمَيْسِرِ. Now directly, the ayah is speaking about intoxicants and alcohol. يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر من نفعهما ويسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل العفو كذلك يبين الله لكم الآيات لعلكم تتفكرون. They ask you, O Prophet, about intoxicants and gambling. خمر والميسر, the intoxicants and gambling. Say, there is great evil in both, as well as some benefit for people. But the evil outweighs the benefit. They also ask you, O Prophet, what they should donate. Say, whatever you can spare, this is how Allah makes His revelations clear to you, believers. So perhaps you may reflect. Now we have an ayah that talks about alcohol or al-khamr or intoxicants. يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما إثم كبير. Now, this is the importance of having the comprehensive knowledge. This ayah is one out of 4 ayat that talks about the graduality of prohibiting al-khamr. أهلا وسهلا. حياكم الله شباب. شرفتمونا. Now we need to know something, we call it in the Islamic jurisprudence في الفقه الإسلامي, or in the principles of Islamic jurisprudence, which is أصول الفقه الإسلامي, we call it فلسفة التشريع في الإسلام, the philosophy of legislation in Islam. And we have 2 concepts. It's good to have an idea about them. التدرج في التشريع والتدرج في التطبيق. It's very important, big 2 concepts. The graduality in revelation and legislation. After revelation is finished, we have a graduality in application. But the hukum, the ruling, has already been done and it's known. Okay? Now, in light of our understanding for the steps of revelation, we can have some wisdom, hikmah, how to apply the hukum depending on the situation. Are you with me? Yani, we will be humble students for the divine wisdom. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator, صاحب kun fayakun, the one who whenever he says for something be, it is. kun fayakun. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له kun fayakun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He wants something to be, He just say be and it is. خلاص. طيب. Yet, Allah taught us by His wisdom that when He wanted to change the society from polytheistic, paganistic society, how this society has been a polytheistic, mushrik, worshipping many idols, a mixture of cultures and faith and filthy, dirty, wrong things that they are embedded within them for hundreds and hundreds of years. Allah did not send Prophet Muhammad with Jibreel alayhi salam. Khalas, tomorrow everything must be changed. So this is one of the great, by the way, great ayat to see the mercy of Allah, the wisdom of Allah, the mercy of Islam, the wisdom of Islam, the flexibility of Islam to be applicable for the end of the time. When you witness this, and you know this is by nature, part of the nature of Islam, and then you are asked to spread Islam, in light of this understanding, you will be able how to deal with the people. What happened? Let's see the graduality, how it happened. Now, in light of this, we will have a nice lesson when we speak with especially, by the way, this session today is one of the sessions that we, as Muslims in the West, whether we loved or not, we are a minority. The majority around us, they are what? Non-Muslims. This is a fact, a reality, which means any of us, especially the youth, those who goes to the universities and public schools, they are always exposed to non-Muslims, at least by simple, humble questions. Are you a Muslim? Yes. What does it mean to be a Muslim? Why? When? How? If she's a sister, why do you wear the hijab? If you have growing a beard, is it what Sunnah? What do you mean by Sunnah? I mean, do Islam? You know, forget, apart from the misleading media now, I'm talking about normal, good, nice person, just he's seeking the knowledge. You need to know the knowledge, okay? So, let's see how beautiful this Islam is. يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر. Now, I was reading in some of the Tafsir giving you اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. قال يسألونك عن قل فيهما إثم كبير. لما نزلت هذه الآية قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن الله قد تقدم في تحريم الخمر. When this ayah came, يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر, Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم said, it seems as if it's an introduction, a possible introduction to prohibit alcohol, the step. But when Prophet Muhammad, he did not say it's haram, because the text did not say it's completely haram. So they are asking you about intoxicants and gambling. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فِيهِمَا إِثْمٌ, great evil and some benefits. And by the way, in addition to what I have highlighted, this is another file. Remind me to handle it. This file, basic philosophy of legislations in Islam is the concept of the level of harm, darar. Depending on that, we have in our Islamic jurisprudence the concept of qiyas, analogy. Okay? So we can, for example, there is no text in Islam talks about drugs, cocaine, heroin, which they are not mentioned neither by names nor by description. But how do we consider them a major sin and haram? Depending on the rule of analogy. Analogy compared with alcohol. What is the main reason for prohibiting alcohol? Basically, it destroys the power of intellect. The rational processing stops. Now, this is in Islamic terminology called adatut taklif or manatut taklif. Manat al-taklif or adat al-taklif means practically it is the thing or the device. Because of it, you are accountable. You are considered an accountable person. If this goes in the Islamic terminology, you will be considered a non-accountable because you are like the crazy person. Now, the dead person or the crazy person or the very young child, they are not accountable in Islam. Why? Because they don't have the normal power of intellectual power. So when they take a decision, which should be taken for everything, and by the way, this tool, this device, the rational power, basically, is responsible on tens and hundreds and thousands of decisions on every day. By the way, every movement you do, you take a decision. Everything you say, you move, you take, it's a decision, this is working. When you drink, this stops. That's why easily a drunk will go on kill, sexual harassment, commit suicide, attack, could many things because he lost this. So this is called, the concept of harm, ad-darar, ziyadat ad-darar. Anyway, so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is fixing the concept of فيهما إثم كبير, great evil, ومنافع للناس, as a first step, as if Allah is teaching us, oh my servants, be careful. Anything by the power of intellect, you know the harm is much more higher than the benefits, it's the first big reason to declare its prohibition. Can we use, by the way, you can use this rule now to judge some kinds of sports. without mentioning any type of sport now, because I'm not expert, but if we know some certain sports, it might kill you at any moment for the reason of what? Are you having a training in your army to protect your country? No, that's sport, for example. Okay, I'm not giving a fatwa, I'm not a mufti, but giving an idea now. Car racing, high speed, 200, 300, 500, at any moment, he's killed, for example. I'm assuming maybe if some ulama who will give a fatwa will tell you that's haram, because you could lose your life, which is the highest precious now, okay? For the sake of what? For the sake of what? Just interesting sports? Anyway, let's go back to our topic. I'm just giving you an idea of analogy, because some people, they say, okay, where did you bring this, that drugs is haram? Drugs is not mentioned. Anything that harms will be haram depending on this rule. And we might, for example, if they discovered some kind of plastic surgeries are causing definitely cancer. Okay, I'm not expert, but I hear the people, because millions of sisters, they do plastic surgery for the sake of more beauty. Be careful. I'm not talking about medical, highly in need plastic surgeries. If I have a car accident or have something abnormal, I need to change it, it's permissible. We are not discussing this. Like any other problem. I have an injury, I have a cut, I have a car accident. No. But just I'm looking at the TV and I love, for example, Tom Cruise. I want my nose to be exactly like the nose of Tom Cruise. Like some Arab sisters, they want their nose to be exactly like Haifa or Elise or Nancy Agram or whatever. But what's this? But this is a plastic surgery. Or they want their cheeks to be more or less, or their lips or kada. So they inject with what they call it fillers or the Botox. And some of them, they are from silicone. Some kind of silicone products. I'm not expert, but I hear that they might or they do cause cancer. So depending on this rule, you can give a fatwa if this is haram. Not from the point of view of beauty and beauty. No. I'm talking about the harm. If this silicone or this medical product will cause cancer and you are doing just to be more beautiful. I'm not talking about a medical need. Depending on فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع. Okay? A great evil. What's the point? But there is a benefit. We know there is a benefit, but who cares with this benefit? Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that they are asking about gambles and intoxicants. They say great evil. Some benefit. Is there a benefit? Definitely yes. Anyone who sells alcohol will benefit. The one who buys alcohol will benefit. The one who grows the grape or something who sells it will benefit. Compared with the evil now. The millions who are drunk. Those who will lose their job and will kill people, will do car accident and sexual harassment and suicide committing and doing this disaster in the streets and the highways and such and such. If you give a value of the medical, fire station works, firefighters, the troubles and the accidents in the highways, the people who will be late, those who lost their lives. If you want to give values with this compared with this, it's 1 to 1 million. Losing one life is enough to stop this thing. What about losing thousands? Are you with me? So depending on that, this is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر. Now, قال فلما اللهم صل على يسألون. Prophet Muhammad said, قال إن الله قد تقدم, as if Allah is giving us like a possible introduction to prohibiting the khamr. قال فتركها قوم لقوله إثم كبير وشربها قوم لقوله ومنافع للناس. Look how great and flexible Islam was in the graduality. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed إثم ومنافع, some people they say we'll stop it from now. Others they say as long as Allah himself did not give a clear cut final, why should I stop enjoying myself? Because by the way, drinking alcohol is not an Arabic tradition. It's a human tradition. On earth, wherever you go, all the people that drink alcohol. But Arabs, they used to be addict like many other nations. So it's one of the closest thing to their hearts. So when the ayah was not 100% clear, say, why should I? As long as Allah did not. In it comes, I will do it. Some of them immediately they stopped. قال إلى أن صنع عبد الرحمن بن عوف طعاما فدعا ناسا من أصحاب النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. عبد الرحمن bin Auf, one of the great Sahaba, he invited a group of the Sahaba to a food, walima. Now, وأتاهم بخمر فشربوا وسكروا. So, it's their customs. When they eat, they drink, like many people now. قال, they became drunk, the Sahaba, at the beginning. So, they lost their control. قال وحضرت صلاة المغرب. The time of Maghrib came. فقدموا بعضهم ليصلي بهم فقرأ. One of the Sahaba, he did not mention who is he. He became an imam, but he's drunk now. Then he said, فقرأ قل يا أيها الكافرون أعبد ما تعبدون, without mentioning لا أعبد. So he was reading قول الله تعالى قل يا أيها, oh, who you do not believe. The ayah says لا أعبد ما تعبدون, I do not worship what you worship, which is the negation in Nafi. He read it by affirmation. I do worship what you worship. Imagine Sahabi says, oh, ya ayyuhal kafirun, I'm worshipping what you worship. He was praying because of the alcohol, because of الخمر. قال هكذا إلى آخر السورة بحذف لا. فأنزل الله تعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى. This is another step. It was the graduality. The incident happened. First of all, they asked, يا رسول الله وصدقه فيما إثم كبير ونافع للناس. First step. Many people, they say, okay, we'll stop from now. People say, no, still not. Great evil, great harm, some benefits. Next step, this happened. He made a big mistake. It was a horrible mistake. And they realized how bad it is, how the effect, by the way, they already realized, but it became what? Norm. Sometimes the normalization, tatbi' with anything will make it normal because of the repetition. You got my point? And we can see this, by the way. Let's talk, for example, about communism now. Western world who believe in capitalism and human rights, they believe that communism, socialism is something very bad. But how does it happen that North Korea, previous Russia, China, we are talking about more than 1.5 billion person, they live according to this system. Simply, they were grown up, indoctrinated from the very early childhood to these teachings. Repetition, which means don't keep saying, no, you know, my power of intellect, I think, no. You will be brainwashed by the system. So it happens with everyone. So don't think that really you are that great as an individual. You can't in many cases. We can see 1.5 billion, they are all of them, they believe in communism. Where's their brains? Their power of intellect, where is it? Normalization. Sometimes you have the authority, the power. They come, they scare you. You look, they keep repeating. You accept. It becomes spread. Then you accept more. It becomes normal. Then you will be convinced you will be part of the system. This happens. Or you tell me, forget communism now. Let's come to our close neighbors, the Germans, Europeans. Nazism. Mr. Hitler. You ask yourself this question. But we all know that the end result of Nazism, it was more than a disaster. It caused the Western world and the world the death of about 60 million people. The estimation between 52 to about 70 million. The average is 60 millions were killed طبعا the majority they were civilians. طيب, what was the main reason? Nazism of Hitler in Germany. طيب, Germans, are they clever people or idiots or stupid people? What do you think? يعني, if they are not the most clever people, I don't know who can claim otherwise. German people, they are genius. Look at their industries, the best of the best of the best in the history. No one can beat them. No inventions in everything, the quality, you know, any engine, just German engine, خلاص, just make the salute and stop. Don't argue. Mercedes is a proof. Anyway, it's a big story. So you can't accuse Germans that they don't have what? You can't. But how did they become Nazis? So please don't be so trust with your power of intellect. I know. I understand. La habibi, you will be brainwashed, you will be exposed, you will, fear will be spread, the power will be, repeating, and they will go. Now, German Nazism, they start normalizing the people from the schools, from the kindergartens, planting in their minds that we are superior. Superior. Everyone else is inferior. So they accepted the idea. There were millions, tens of millions. And they were so happy to invade Europe. They killed millions of Germans and Polish and Italian. You know the story, you know what's the Second World War. Go and read about it. Subhanallah. I'm giving you a logical proof that how the greatness of Islam. What? Yes. In Islam, it's not just a curative system, it's a preventive system. We don't allow the first step. That's what, because it's a divine system. Because for humans, let's try. Let's see what will happen. If we tried and we discovered a disaster in the sixth step, how can you? We can't go back, so let's deal with the actual reality. This is what the human beings do. Divine system, no. The end of intoxicants is disaster. Haram, had. If you drink, you will be lashed. Period. But no. Economy, no. Tourism, no. Majority election, no. Close the file. Period. That's why Islam unbeatable. No one can play within the software of Islam. Islamic software is fully protected, divinely protected. Whatever you can't be hacked, can be attacked. The divine antivirus. Other systems can be infected with viruses easily. Depends on the power on the system. It depends. Conservatives, liberals, power, media, money. Anything could happen. Anything. And we can see. And by the way, one of the biggest examples we have to learn on this, what happened with Donald Trump. The system allowed him to reach, and he himself, look what he did. And then what happened? It's amazing. You are witnessing at any moment a disaster could have happened. Because basically, it's the point of the people. Anyway, you can have social examples, political examples, but I'm trying just to give you the beauty of Islam and understanding the graduality of this tashri'ah. Now, اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. قال فحرم السكر يا أيها الذين لا تقربوا الصلاة. So Allah, because of that Sahabi made that mistake when he read the ayah, Allah revealed يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى حتى تعلموا ما تقولون. All believers, do not approach prayer while intoxicated until you are aware of what you say. Now, because of that, look to beauty, and please keep in your mind, I will come to apply, to do analogy on our da'wah for non-Muslims now. Okay? Now, اللهم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. قال فحرم السكر في أوقات الصلاة. So now being drunk on the time of a prayer became completely prohibited. Just at the time of prayer, which means if you are not aware, I mean, it's prohibited for you to pray if you are not fully conscious about what you are saying. Technically, practically, this led to what? قال فلما نزلت تركها قوم, a group of people, they left it completely and they say لا خير في شيء يحول بيننا وبين الصلاة. There is no good in something that will make a gap between us, because you can't control sometimes. Because, okay, you drink. You can't just press a button, you stop not being drunk, because it takes hours. I'm not expert طبعا, but it's what I know, okay? Because the people, they say, how do you know it takes hours? This is what I know, Allahu Alam, okay? And maybe some people, they might be drunk for long hours than others. It depends for many elements. So some people, they say, خلاص, let's stop it from now. Others look to the nature of the human beings. Other Sahaba said, قال وتركها قوم في أوقات الصلاة وشربوها في غير حين الصلاة حتى كان الرجل يشرب بعد صلاة العشاء فيصبح وقد زال عنه السكر ويشرب بعد صلاة الصبح فيصحو إذا جاء وقت الظهر. So they reschedule their drinking time, some of them. They said the best two periods, the span of time, are after Isha and after Fajr. After Isha till the Fajr, you have a good number of hours. Maybe it depends on the season. But you have an average 6 to 8 to 9 hours. Between Fajr and Dhuhr, you have an average of 6 hours. So those, but now between Dhuhr and Asr, no way. Between Asr and Maghrib, no way. Between Maghrib and Isha, no way. So they reschedule to drink either between Isha and Fajr or between Fajr and, just to avoid, okay, just being drunk at the time of prayer out of respect. Now, قال اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. قال واتخذ عتبان بن مالك صنيعا. Then another incident happened. One of the Sahaba, his name is Utban. قال صنيعا ودعا رجال من المسلمين فيهم سعد بن أبي وقاص. He made another invitation for the food, another gathering out of respect, a walima. قال وفيهم سعد بن أبي وقاص. You know the great Sahabi, Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, he's the leader of Ma'arakat al-Qadisiyya, one of the greatest battles in the history of Islam. It was the beginning of the collapse of the Persian Empire. Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas. وكان قد شوى لهم رأس بعير فأكلوا منه. You know, he brought to them like a grilled head of a camel. Anyway, it was like in our terminology a very nice food. Okay? So they ate and they drank. قال وشربوا الخمر حتى أخذت منهم ثم إنه مفتخروا عند ذلك وانتسبوا. Arabs who understood what does it mean افتخروا وانتسبوا. The question is for Arabs. افتخروا وانتسبوا.
Being proud of what they were proud of.
Oh, but yes, proud of what?
Proud of where, like the big families or the...
Yes. Yes, افتخروا وانتسبوا. They started to speak about their pride, how proud they are depending on their descentship and their family ties. You know, this is very important for Arabs. We are from Bani Hanifa, we are from Bani Makhzoom, we are from Rabi'a, we are from such and such. This is a great, which is feeling proud of your lineage, your descentship, your connections, your relations, your blood relations. Now they became drunk. They started speaking about their, achievements. My grandfather, my father, I am the son of such and such. Now they are drunk. While they were doing so, وانتسبوا. I am the son of such and such and such. No, I am the son. My great grandfather did such and such. No. My great grandfather did something better than him. Because when they felt I started, arguing while they are drunk about this topic. قال وتناشدوا الأشعار. And started, they were experts in memorizing, poems. فسعد بن أبي وقاص, he brought from the time of the Jahiliyyah verses, a poem فيها هجاء للأنصار وفخر لقومه. So Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, it's something from the Jahiliyyah, something, dishonoring the Ansar, speaking in the very bad words about them, humiliating them. Yeah, in our, like now someone brings a poem 90 years ago, for example, a racist white is trying to humiliate the indigenous people. Imagine, and someone is using this poem now in public. What? This is a crime now. You can't. You got my point? So it's a big issue. Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, he recalled this poem which is full of racism against Al-Ansar. قال فأخذ رجل من الأنصار لحي البعير فضرب به رأس سعد فشجه. فانطلق سعد, one of the Ansar, he became very angry. He took one of the bones of the head of the camel and he hit Sa'd radiallahu anhu, and he opened a cut in his in his head. It was a big injury, serious fight. قال فانطلق سعد إلى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشكى إليه الأنصاري. So Sa'd immediately, with his injury, he went to Prophet Muhammad صلى الله عليه وسلم complaining against the Ansari. فقال عمر, then Umar, he was a witness on this, when he came to complain. Umar said, اللهم بين لنا رأيك في الخمر بيانا شافيا. Said, oh Allah, I plead to you, I ask you, Ya Allah, give us a final cut decision in al-khamr and alcohol. It was realized, people of intellect, they realize it's bad. But it's a custom, it's the norm. Everyone does it. Like now. Can you imagine now? Try to imagine just for a while what could happen if Joe Biden or Justin Trudeau started discussing that I'm planning to discuss with my government to stop producing and selling alcohol. What could happen to him? Seriously, I'm asking.
They will revolt against it. It's no doubt.
It's the end. Finito. You know finito? Finito. خلاص. It's the end of his خلاص. Because it's the norm of millions of people. So what are you saying? So subhanallah, this is how Arabs used to be. It was not easy. Because if you want to understand what used to happen in their time, compare it with what we live now. Subhanallah. Imagine, we as Muslims, because alhamdulillah, the majority of us, we don't drink, hopefully, inshallah. Let's do it in something more close to us. Imagine if someone wants to prevent us from drinking coffee, for example. Imagine that if someone is planning to say it's prohibited to go to Tim Hortons, for example. What? Wallah, it's not easy. Huh? It is. Because it's a basic part of our life. Is there anyone here who does not go at least once a day to Tim Hortons, for example? At least. I personally go 5 times. Wallahi, I do all of my. Imagine if someone, we need to feel the thing, not just in theory. If someone can say, you are not allowed to drink coffee. Or a better example, tell Turkish people you are not allowed to drink tea. Because tea for the Turkish people is much more sacred than the coffee. Anyway, the idea, it was something horrible. It's not easy. قال اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد. Umar radiallahu anhu, he asked Allah, Ya Allah, show us a clear-cut final decision, very precise something. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then revealed, يا أيها الذين اللهم صل إنما الخمر والميسر the ayah يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه لعلكم تفلحون. All believers, intoxicants, gambling, idols, and drawing lots for decisions. I will explain it now. Drawing lots for decisions are all evil of Satan's handiwork. So shun them so you may be successful. It's completely. Now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used hona فاجتنبوها. Some people who want to try to play clever, they say Allah did not say haram, Allah said فاجتنبوه. According to the ulama of Islam in Arabic language, اجتنبوه means 10 times haram. اجتنبوه means it's haram to buy it, haram to sell it, haram to sit with someone who's drinking, haram to use your truck or your van to carry the goods of anything related to the intoxicants industry, to the factory. Haram to plant the grape in your farm. Haram to sell the grape or the fruit to the factory who transfers it into alcohol. And haram to do ads for them. And haram to deal with them. And haram to take with them. All of them is haram. It's not just drinking. Yes, فاجتنبوه. اجتنبوه, which means anything related to the intoxicants industry, it's completely prohibited. It's Allah knows. Allah knows what will happen to us. Look now what's happening to us. And by the way, it's one of the ways of controlling the people. Yes, it is. Because if the priority for the majority of us is just to keep working, paying tax, enjoying time, watching football match, have a nice food, drink, go to sleep, forget everything, then go to work next day. Yes? If you want to think about the philosophy behind it, yes, people of power are benefiting from this, greatly benefiting. يا أيها الذين آمنوا إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه لعلكم تفلحون. All believers, intoxicants, gambling, idols, and drawing lots for decisions. Now, الأنصاب والأزلام, you know, الأنصاب, idols. Now, drawing lots for decisions, they say, قال الأزلام, to make a decision in pre-Islamic Arabia, a person would draw one of the 3 straws. You know, which, by the way, this still does exist in many cultures around the world. I witnessed this in Buddhism. For example, I went to a Buddhist temple in Hong Kong. Oh, let me just stop this. Let me continue just reading. قال, to make a decision in a pre-Islamic Arabia, a person would draw one of the 3 straws. Like, for example, you have something like that. You have 3 straws inside it, okay? قال, one saying, do it. The other, do not do it. And the third was left blank. Whereas in Islam, there is a special prayer called istikhara for guidance when making a decision. This is al-Islam. People, you know, like now, they believe in what? Energy, taqa. They believe in what? Demons. They believe in what? Kainunat or kainat, spiritual spirits, beings, witches or something, you know. All of these kind of unseen things, speaking with demons, devils, ihdar al-arwah, bringing the spirits, because it's completely unseen. When you don't believe in a true, genuine faith, you will be exposed to anything that could come. One of these things, Arabs, when they want to take a decision, I don't know, shall I do it or not do it? Shall I do this trade with this person and go yes or no? They used to do al-istiqsam bil-azlam. They were under the faith that they bring 3 straws, they check it like this, and they just throw. One of them is written, it's 3. Do it, don't do it, blank. If blank, do it again. If do it, khalas, do it. Regardless of anything. Regardless of the logic, regardless of the practical, technical experience, regardless of your feelings, regardless of your observation, khalas, do it, don't do it. What's this? What's this? And by the way, millions of people, they do it now. Huh? They are?
They are rolling the dice.
Yes. Subhanallah. And I once saw, subhanallah, I was visiting Hong Kong. You know, Hong Kong is number 2 maybe, or one of the most well-known cosmopolitan cities on earth. Multicultural, multi-ethnic, multi-religious, So in Hong Kong, so I visited a Buddhist temple. So it was my first time, it's about 17, 18 years ago. It was my first time I visit a Buddhist temple in Hong Kong. Or Buddhist temple in general in my life as well. So subhanallah, okay, you can see the statues of Buddha and you see this kind of sense and this kind of smoke. So it was my first time that I saw a lady. It seems, her appearance, the way how she's dressing, she's a businesswoman. She's ready. I think she's a CEO of a company. Maybe it's you can tell from the appearance. She came. She went to her knees. She was holding something like this. She did like. She shot this kind of straw. Subhanallah, I saw it doing it. I said, so what's this? Then we discussed with her. So she was doing exactly this. My wife and my kids, they were with me. I was giving a intensive course about Islam for Muslims and non-Muslims there. So we visited this place just to see what happens around us. So we saw her doing this. So we asked her, what are you doing? Exactly what I explained to you now. She wants to take a decision like this, and she told, where is science? Where is logic? Where is data? So don't tell me that the people, khalas, they reach to the age of no. Still, by default, we are in need to have faith. But now the point that some people might be misled by the wrong faith. So we need it. In Islam, subhanallah, you believe in the existence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, alhamdulillah. According to our understanding of al-qada wal-qadar, nothing will happen but by the permission of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we have rules. We have regulations. First of all, and we have the istikhara. And in this context, let me just very quickly give you a quick idea about the istikhara, because it's part of our faith. But some people, they might misunderstand it. Now, before the istikhara, in Islam, we believe in the tashri'at, legislations, ahkam, rulings. Now, we have rulings. What shall I do regarding XYZ? Wait, is there a ruling behind it? For example, I want to invest my money in X company. What's this company? Regardless, no. We need to know what is the substance, the thing, okay, of this company. Wallahi, they deal with, for example, they manage and they run casinos. Oh, it's haram. So you have no right to invest. But Sheikh, please don't interfere. I will do the istikhara. If Allah made my heart, Habibi, there is no istikhara. It's haram. Got me? Got my point? It's haram. There's a ruling. It's part of the gambling. طبعا casinos, you have gambling and you have khamr and you have something else. When they finish at night, they continue the night. So 3 big major sins. So you have no right to invest your money there. It's haram. طيب. On the other side, Sheikh, wallahi, I'm a little bit hesitant. I don't know, shall I be kind with my parents or not? I want to do istikhara. No, Habibi, it's wajib. Whether you loved or not, you must be nice with them, even if they are the worst people on earth. What? Yes, no istikhara. You must be kind of them. We have teachings here. طيب. This is first of all, we have ahkam. Now, after the ahkam, we have something, what we call it halal or mubah. It's an open. It's one of the options that you are allowed to do it. No problem with it. And you don't know whether this contains khair or not. For example, I want to study, for example, what is the hukum of studying in McMaster for my BA? Compared with the hukum of studying in UTM. Both of them are mubah, legal, open, no problem. طيب, UFT, the same. طيب, I'm a little bit hesitant. Now, first of all, we are sure that going to this university is not haram. First of all. Is it? Yes, alhamdulillah. طيب. Next step, you are asked to collect information about benefits, good things, bad things, the Muslim society, the MSAs, you will have some kind of accommodation for you there or not? Are they supportive for your needs or not? If you hear that X university, they have an anti-Muslim movement inside it. All the time they are not allowing you really, as if they don't belong to the Western society. I'm supposed to avoid it, for example. True or false? Done. Imagine now that I'm a little bit confused. Which is better, McMaster or UTM? Now I do the istikhara. Look, first step, haram, wajib. Next step, is there harm, good, nice, depending on, I collect information. Okay, for example, UTM is close to my house. Okay, I have a car and I'm living alone and I don't mind. The field of specialization in McMaster is better. I will drive more, but does not cause any trouble to me. Type. What if UTM is very close to my house and I have a sick mother or father and they might be in need for me at least twice a day for an average 1 hour every time because of their illness? McMaster takes 2 hours driving from me, UTM takes 10 minutes. It's part of the istikhara now. To be more closer to something that might be in need. Okay? And so on. I collect benefits, pros and cons, advantages, disadvantages. I bring them to my istikhara. Then I say, now the core point of the istikhara, by the way, is dua. Allahumma inni astakhiruka bi'ilmik wa astaqdiruka biqudratik. Oh Allah, I ask you to choose for me because you know and I don't know. Oh Allah, if you know. Ya Allah, in kunta ta'lam and Allah ya'lam. But it's a matter of training you to submit and to believe and to trust in Allah. Ya Allah, if you know and Allah knows that such and such, and you mention your thing between you and Allah to open this very strong ties between you and Allah. Ya Allah, if you know that, and you mention it. Ya Allah, if you know that if I go to UTM, for example, University of Toronto in Mississauga, is better for me because I'm planning to be closer to my parents to take care of them. Even though, Ya Allah, I would love to have the field of XYZ in McMaster, but I want to be here for the sake of taking. If you know that this is خير لي في دين ودنياي ومعاشي وعاقبة, if you know that this is good or better for me in this dunya and in the akhirah, make it easy for me. And if you know that this thing, I repeat it. Studying in McMaster, studying in whatever, traveling, marrying, divorcing, buying a house, whatever. You just mention it, okay? شر لي. It's something contains evil that I don't know. I'm not able to see it. قال فاصرفه عني واصرفني عنه. Take it away from my face, Ya Allah, and take my heart from it. واصرفني عنه. واقدر لي الخير حيث كان. Oh Allah, make the khayr, the goodness easy in my way. قال ثم ردني به. Let me be satisfied and accept your decision. So subhanallah, compare between al-Islam, I'm explaining the Islam now, because this is the pre-Islamic, the Jahiliyyah, the ignorance. إنما الخمر, we talked about it. والميسر, gambling, controlling, destroying the money. والأنصاب, statues, worshiping. والأزلام, which means you make your fates in this, just okay, do it, don't do it. What? No. You take al-akhd bil-asbab, possible means. You have the ilm, you have the logic, you have something. When everything is done, now you do tawakkul ala Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You pray the istikhara, then you do tawakkul. وَمَن يَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ فَهُوَ حَسْبُهُ. Look to this version of dealing with the ghaib and with the future compared with do it, okay. Don't do it, okay. What's this? This is how you should be proud when you understand your system, your Islam. Because this thing is applied by tens of millions now, hundreds of millions. So it's not something, ooh, really they did it. No, now they do it. Now they do it. And by the way, a big number of very well-known, famous influencers, actors, and sport people, they deal with black magic, with witches, with magic, with demons. They do because they are afraid, because they don't know. They try to approach those people in secret. You see the very funny, news about them, about this, subhanallah. They leave the khair and they go to something Very bad. And this is the beauty of Islam. طيب. Now we have just a few minutes for the finish. By this, we had an idea about our ayah today, which is يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر قل فيهما إثم كبير ومنافع للناس وإثمهما أكبر من نفعهما ويسألونك ماذا ينفقون قل العفو. Or they ask you, O Prophet, about intoxicants and gambling. Say there is great evil in both, as well as some benefit for people, but the evil outweighs the benefit. They also ask you, Prophet Muhammad, etc. So the big two lessons, what we call it falsafah, the philosophy of legislation, the graduality of revelation compared with the graduality of application. The final message we get from this: when you see someone who's facing a big trouble, coming in newly to the Islam, a new Muslim convert, revert, you as a wise expert, if you know the knowledge, you know how to apply graduality with this person, okay? You don't change the hukum, you know the final hukum. But sometimes, in light of understanding this, we use the philosophy of graduality for new Muslims, for example. Imagine, for example, a new Muslim convert or someone who would like to revert to Islam. Still, he's wearing, for example, a ring of gold, a chain of gold, and he has, for example, earrings. He's drinking alcohol. He has a girlfriend. He's doing some magic or whatever. Can you imagine if he came to ask about Islam, you tell him, tonight you have to stop all of these things, including drinking alcohol and having weeds? It's no. Taking in consideration this graduality of this, you will do ijtihad to see what is the worst. What's the things that stops him completely? You convince him. Maybe you will close your eye completely from other things. You will not mention them Aslan. Because, what? The Sahaba themselves, it took them steps to accept it, as you say. They were drunk and they prayed while they are drunk and they make mistakes and they fought and they hit each other. Till Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, فَإِنَّمَا الْخَمْرُ وَالْمَيْسِرُ وَالْأَنصَابُ وَالْأَزْلَامُ رِجْسٌ مِنْ عَمَلِ الشَّيْطَانِ فَاجْتَنِبُوهُ. It took a long time. And by the way, this happened after Ghazwat al-Ahzab. Yeah, we are talking about more than around 18 years plus from the age of Islam. By the way, hijab and al-khamr, around 15 to 18 years from the beginning of Islam. Just to see the value of how important to fix the faith relation with Allah, which 13 years in Mecca, compared with when the hijab and the khamr, as a final regulation, they were sent. MashaAllah. Our caretaker, on time exactly. 4 minutes and 15 seconds left. Sir, I finished. Jazakallah khair for reminding me. Sallallahu alayhi wa Muhammad wa alayhi. Sorry, please. Next week, inshallah, Seerah and Tafsir both will be after Isha. So we'll pray the Isha and we'll start. So, okay? Jazakumullah khair. Jazakallah khair for the tadhkir. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.